The witch hunt goes on. Special counsel Robert Mueller is expected to file a sentencing memo for former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn at almost any moment now. Mueller has a midnight tonight deadline. Flynn pleaded guilty despite claims from former FBI Director James Comey and his deputy, Andrew McCabe. Remember him? They both said the two FBI agents who interviewed Flynn thought that he was telling the truth. Well, joining me now to talk about all of that, Mueller's legal filings this week on Flynn, Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen, and whether Mueller is finally wrapping up the witch hunt. Attorney, former member of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, Cleta Mitchell, and Gregg Jarrett, Fox legal analyst and author of the New York Times bestseller, The Russia Hoax. Let me start, Cleta, with you. A sentencing memo for General Flynn. His oft-delayed sentencing. Now we're in December finally. I think this is the fourth sentencing date. And your thoughts about where we are with at least General Flynn.
Well, this is such a travesty that this special counsel has inflicted on this fine person who served our country. And you just hardly know what to make of it when you think about the fact that this special prosecutor, this special counsel, has basically created crimes that took place after the November 2016 election because of the too expansive orders that he was given, the grant of authority he was given, the fact that Rod Rosenstein has not overseen him properly. He has unlimited budget, unlimited resources, unlimited power. And
unlimited time.
Unlimited time. And, of course, that's what Jeff Flake is worried about, that poor Robert Mueller needs to be protected. The people who need to be protected are the American people.
There will be a national cheer when Jeff Flake finally exits at least the D.C. swamp.
Yes.
Greg, your thoughts. This has nothing to do, General Flynn has nothing to do with collusion with the Russians.
That's right. And he likely has no information whatsoever to provide Mueller with collusion with the Russians to win the election. How do we know that? First of all, he'd be charged with collusion, whatever that amorphous crime is that's nowhere in the criminal codes. But he'd be charged with something, and he wasn't. He's charged with a process crime. And second of all, clearly, now that Mueller is moving to sentencing, he is not going to use Michael Flynn as a witness against Trump. He would delay the sentencing yet again if that was his intention. It isn't. So it's a big nothing in terms of collusion.
The sentencing memo would detail, would it not, the trade that was made between Flynn and the special counsel in terms of eliciting some sort of benefit information.
Yeah, it probably would. Although it may be under seal. I mean, we just don't know. And it may be that only Flynn and the lawyers would know.
More obfuscation, more secrecy.
Of course.
Let's turn to the possibility that, because the swamp, Cleta, is awash with these rumors. I love that word, awash. Awash with rumors that we're seeing the Mueller witch hunt wrap up. And I don't know why, but in every instance, the expression is tying up loose ends. Your thoughts?
Well, I really am not optimistic that that's the case. Now, it may be that because the Democrats have taken over the House, that he will now feel that it's appropriate for him to hand a report over to the likes of Adam Schiff and others so that they can initiate impeachment proceedings, because that's actually what this is all about. This started as a counterintelligence investigation in which the Obama administration was spying on the Trump campaign, and it's morphed into a let's go after all these people and see if we can either force them to commit crimes by talking to us or see if we can find some crimes, which is what they've done in the case of Paul Manafort and Rick Gates. So I think that had the Republicans retained control of the House, that we wouldn't be hearing all these rumors about wrapping up.
Cleta, but I've got to be honest with you. I basically am not particularly upset that the Republicans lost control of the House. I am so tired of the feudal
Believe me, I know.
baloney that resulted from all of these investigations led by the House. I mean, from going back to Benghazi and Fast and Furious, all the way to the most recent subpoenaing of fired FBI Director James Comey. My God, could you imagine anything, Greg? I mean, anything more just impotent than the actions of the Judiciary, the House Oversight Committee, in all of this.
Oh, I agree 100%. They've bungled many of these investigations. As far as collusion is concerned, the facts don't support it. Obstruction of justice, the law doesn't support it. But that doesn't mean that Mueller, because he hates Trump and he's incredibly biased, and the evidence is that he's unscrupulous and unprincipled, will nevertheless write a report that will imply, based on flimsy circumstantial evidence, that meeting with a Russian is somehow a crime, or that tweeting out something is obstruction of justice, which is ludicrous. But this is Mueller, who's pals with Comey, and they are out to get Trump.
Rosenstein.
And Rosenstein and the whole gang, and they'll write a report that will try to damage Trump and that rabid Democrats in the House will use for impeachment.
That's exactly what this is all about. It's what it's always been about. This has never been about anything but getting rid of the president that was duly elected in 2016 and nullifying the effects, the results of that election. That's what this is all about.
And the cowards who make up both parties and their leadership who would not stand for this president, would not stand up for him.
That's true.
And the American people ought to be embarrassed that they ever elected a single one of the
There are a few who've tried, but they've been completely thwarted by the Republican leadership in the House. And I frankly have seen no evidence that Senator Richard Burr, who's the Republican chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, I don't know that he has a pulse. And, you know, I hate to say that, but that's basically what I have witnessed. And they've allowed the Democrats to basically run that investigation from start to finish. It's very frustrating.
And by the way, still haven't come up. You get the last word. A scintilla of evidence has become the expression.
No, there's no evidence. 2 congressional committees reviewed 2 million documents and over 200 witnesses. They didn't come up with a whiff of collusion. It was all conjured by Comey's FBI and the Department of Justice under the Barack Obama administration.
Every American should think, I believe, every day, what if this president did not have his individual personal strength, his immense capacities, because a lesser man would have been already devastated and destroyed by these relentless attacks from the weak hyenas who make up the national left-wing media and most of the establishment of this country, whether Republican or Democrat.